Well, at its basic level, the city council sets policy and the city manager's job is to implement that policy and run the city on a day-to-day basis. However, it's much more interactive than that. Ideas come from the bottom up, ideas come from the top down. You've spent a lot of time talking about them, vetting them out, and finally when policy is set, then the city manager's job is to implement that policy. Well, California can't be strong unless local cities are strong. It starts at the local level. When we create jobs in the local level, when we have a strong economy, that helps the state, that brings revenues into the state. And so I really do believe in the strong city, strong state concept. It's very critical that we work as partners with the state to make sure that happens. Well, I would talk about a project that actually grew out of tragedy. We had a city council member who was 22 years old, who was elected, who was Hispanic, who was murdered. And it was a very tragic thing in the community. And we first had to go through the process of the community grieving and then going through the funeral process. And so we actually opened up an operation like an emergency operations center to plan the grieving, community grieving, and to plan the funeral. We had a funeral for 10,000 people. We had state and national media there. It was an interactive process between the school district, because we did it actually on a high school campus, the city, the county, law enforcement obviously heavily involved in that. But out of that grew some really interesting projects. One is we opened, his name was Matt Garcia, and we opened the Matt Garcia Youth Center, which serves about 150 kids every night, basketball, boxing, computer labs, mentoring. We opened the Matt Garcia Learning Center, which is a continuation high school in town, and then we formed the Matt Garcia Foundation, which does community cleanups every month. So out of this tragedy became these three really great projects that came out of it, so that's the thing I'm most proud of. Biggest challenge for California cities today is being able to provide services given the fiscal constraints we're working under. Our city has cut 23% of its workforce in the last 4 years. We've cut $37 million out of our budget, which is about 40% of our general fund budget. So being able to provide services to the residents that they come to expect with these fiscal constraints has been very challenging. What we've done locally is we actually passed a sales tax measure last November, and I think it passed that well because everybody understood there was a significant problem in the community and they wanted the services. They wanted police services, they wanted fire services, they wanted their parks, they wanted their libraries. And so that's how we address the challenge. Your ethical obligations as city manager is to uphold the public trust. Everything flows from the public trust. The trust with your staff, the trust with the council comes from the public trust. The ICMA, the International City Managers Association, adopted a code of ethics over 90 years ago. And the core of those ethics is public trust. And then all the other standards of ethics come from that. And I subscribe as a city manager to those codes of ethics. What I like best about being a city manager is being able to interact in the community, to go out and work with the residents on a project, to make a change, working in neighborhoods, to change the neighborhoods around, taking a problem that's a community problem and attacking it in partnership with the residents. That's what I enjoy most, is that interaction back and forth.
At Quinn, we value excellence in city management. Quinn proudly supports the California City Management Foundation.